Okay, so let's proceed now to the functions of law in a society. Okay, social control. First is social control, dispute resolution, protection of the rights of and liberties. Okay, establishing standards, promoting social justice, facilitating order and stability, providing for change. We discuss each of these. The first is social control. Did the law really control the society? Yes. Okay. How? Well, you can see it in your respective communities. So if there are penalties, people's behavior is controlled. Otherwise, we will act like animals. Enforce standards of behavior. Okay. So that would depend on the different crimes committed, like, right? If the crimes is just minimal, like doesn't involve any taking of lives, then penalty will be light. It would even be reprimand, which is the least penalty, or censure, or um what's the other term where you will be exiled? Start with letter D. Distierro. Okay. A distierro is just an exile, like you are not allowed to return to the place where you committed the crime. Well, it's a penalty for um, crimes like defense of honor. When you see, let's say, a wife, for example, having a sexual intercourse with another and killing him or both of them, the penalty may only be distierro because that is a defense of honor. Or other light penalties where it's so minimal that its effect could not even be would not even change any discomfort to the victim. Okay, so a censure or reprimand would be enough. But however, if the crimes committed is so grave such that it's becoming it would be unthinkable that it could be done by a human being, like killing of another human. Okay, in other words, these are heinous crimes, raping and then killing. Okay, like drug addicts sometimes do this one. I read newspapers before when internet is not yet um, in a matter of seconds, where we do not have cell phones. I keep on reading victims of rape, and normally the culprit are the drug addicts. And there are many indicators of people who are drug addicts. You can easily see them and recognize if they're drug addicts. Normally they are thin, and then uh, eyes are sunk, and lips are white, teeth are broken. Normally don't have teeth because this will make the bones breakable, or easily to be it will fragment the teeth. So, and also the way they talk. Okay, you can easily dim the way they talk. It's not normal. The basic, they can easily shift topics. So you will know them basically, and normally these are people who looks like crazy. Okay, so they do not bring any good to society, and they're also good in talking. And the purpose of the talking is later on they're going to borrow money, and that money will be used for buying drugs. Sometimes they sell anything at the lowest price. Shoes sometimes branded, yet they're going to sell it for only 200, which is the amount of one sachet at that time. Okay, so I'm telling you that so that you will be aware. So it's for your own protection. Should be, well, most of you are women, should not become a victim of these criminals. I can see before the orderly society where there are no people who will be doing these illegal activities. But right now they're coming back. Okay, I can see them in the streets. I can really see that they are drug addicts. They act like animals. Okay, they are not normal. You can easily distinguish them. Okay, the way they talk, the way they behave, by their physical appearance is so easy. So easy. Okay. Now, establishing standards, protection, by the way, of rights. The second is dispute resolution. Provides mechanism, courts, for example, okay, for resolving conflicts. Okay, the reason why we have law is for the society to regulate the behavior of human. Now, another is the protection of rights and liberties, safeguard the individual and group rights. Of course, I don't have to explain, you know already what does this mean. Protection of rights and liberties is found in Article 3, okay, of the Bill of Rights. Okay, these are rights that are very basic, and yet it is still listed as part of the rights that the state should protect. Okay, as right of citizens that the state should protect. Establishing standards, why? Sets the accepted norms and expectations. That's another functions of law. And then establishing and then promoting social justice. Tries to create equity through legislation and legal processes. You might be thinking that laws are only for the rich or for those who has in life. But there are actually laws that are created basically as a social legislation, one of which is labor. Its interpretation is in favor of the laborers and against the employers, which is why 90% of that cases the court favors the laborers. Is there inequality, or is that law itself is unequal if the law favors those who are less in life? The answer is no. Okay, there is no inequality. Okay, why? Okay, because you do not stand on the same footing. The rich people do not stand on the same footing with the poor, or the employer. Okay, in the case of social legislations like labor laws and labor standards, do not stand with the laborers. The employer, the owner of the company, are the gods. Okay, they can exploit the employees. The employees are the ordinary mortals. Okay, they can be laid down or lay off immediately, dismissed from service, okay, by a mere um, magic wand, struck of the magic wand of the employer. So they're the gods. So the employees, okay, bend their knee to the employers. So that law gives the employees rights. That is why most of the laws, most of the cases, it favors the employees rather than the employer. Now, let's proceed to the sixth one. The sixth, facilitating order and stability, maintains peace and structure in society. So, why maintains peace? Why maintains peace? Without the law, without penalty, people will be doing anything without fear of repercussion or any penalties that may arise. Okay, and also the structure of society. Okay, if everybody will be equal, no one will make the law for this to limit the acts of the individual, then everything will be very chaotic. And then the last is providing for change. The law itself enables legal reforms and societal evolution. So the law itself would evolve us from the lower species to a higher individual, so that we can come up with a better society. Look at those societies where people are highly educated. Okay, they tend to become more humanistic. Okay, and well, the end product of that is they have better conditions in life. Okay, more of the satisfaction of the people, whereas those whose people are not educated, okay, they have bad laws. Okay, people are killing each other. So eventually, if you observe, most of those societies where people are not so educated, they have high criminality. Okay, so that is the effect of when laws are not passed, or only few people are make passing the law. Now, it does not change the society. So the presence of the law enables legal reforms and societal evolution. So we go to the topic that we discussed, okay, on the natural law and legal positivism. Okay, so law is based on moral principles, right? And I think this is what I have explained in our few minutes of discussing in our first meeting. Inherent in human nature and the universe. Okay, so basically the laws we pass are found in the nature itself. All you have to do is to think what are those that is really needed. Okay, you don't have to make laws that are out of the blue. Okay, it's in there, it's in the nature. All you have to do is to dig down, search in your subconscious what are those that are in the nature of the human beings. So that is called natural law. Okay, in fact, our example in our discussion last time was, I was asking you if if to argue with me whether what is the basis of killing as bad. Okay, and then I think one of you mentioned about that it's in the fifth commandment. Okay, so I said that it may not be like that, and the reason why we label it as bad, everybody, almost all of the countries, even if they do not believe in the Bible, still have that notion that killing is bad, and any person who would like to kill another will be punished severely. Okay, some of the penalties before is lex talionis, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. If you take my life, I'm going to take. If you take the life of my relatives or close to me, I'm going to also to take your life. That's lex talionis. We do not have that principle anymore. Okay, we evolved into another higher form society. Okay, but in olden times, that's the law that they practice. Lex talionis, law, a an, a law um, that will give real equality. What was taken will be restored. If you take others' life, your life will also be taken. Okay, but that's how it is. In fact, that's the reason why heinous crimes like killing are punished for death. Okay, that's the origin. But legislators sometimes do not understand how it originates. Like rape now is punished with death. Okay, so that is not the origin of a penalty before. Okay, so other crimes now that do not take life, they punish with death. Okay, so it's more of punitive rather than getting what is just. Now there is higher law the divine or the moral law that human laws must align with. Okay, so that is according to that school of thought. The natural law, accordingly, there's a higher law, which the divine and the moral law that the human laws must align with. So similar to what we discussed, okay, that killing is bad, and that is basically found in the commandments of God. Okay, so who are these key thinkers of the natural law? Aristotle, Thomas Aquinas, and John Locke. Okay, so for next meeting, would like to discuss with me what did these thinkers talked about on the natural law. Okay, so I will be calling 3 of you, or probably 2 each. What did Aristotle say? What did Thomas say about the natural law? And John Locke. So that will be our discussion next meeting. Okay, so